Hey guys, Information, and today I'm going to be proving to you that the Earth is not a spinning ball. It's the Atlantean Conspiracy. So, yeah, let's see what they had to say, shall we? So this one, I've actually already looked at a couple of these. So this one says that no matter how high you go, you should continue. You should have to keep continually pointing your cameras down, which of course you do, especially like if you're up in space. But look at this. It says over 20 miles high. I don't know about how high this is, but it doesn't like. That's because it's barely high at all. Okay, it's just barely skimming the atmosphere. What it looks like. So you can't really tell the curvature of the planet. But if you're way off, and you look at this, this is much higher up. I can't remember exactly which. Oh, Apollo 17. Okay, yeah, Apollo 17 took this image, and then you could start telling it, but that's just because they're thousands of miles away. Meanwhile, there's only 20 there. And so it claims here that water, if Earth was a globe, the water couldn't have the water basically couldn't be in these huge oceans just because of the way it tries to be flat, but it curves along with the Earth just because gravity pulls it down, and just because it's so subtle, the Earth curves very slowly over long distances, several hundred miles. Of course it does curve some, but not as much as this site may lead you to think. One portion of the Nile River flows on the that's just because that's the way the terrain works. Falls with only 1 foot. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, once again, he's just saying that water must curve down an easy, measurable, and he says this several times, so something like skylines or water or stuff like this. 8 inches per mile multiplied by the square of the distance. This means along a 6-mile channel of standing water, Earth would dip 6 feet on either end from the central peak. Okay, every time such experiments have been conducted, I want to see these results for this, But I mean, do you honestly think that over 6 miles you're going to notice 6 feet? So what? A mile is 5,280 times 6 divided. Yeah. So I mean that's that 31,000 feet. Okay. Sorry for those of you metric people. That's 31,000 feet. So do you honestly think that you're gonna notice a 6 feet deep or 6 feet like little curve downwards from that far a distance, from 6 miles? Never required. Yes, they are. Yeah, they are but that's just because they're not. It's because of the roads. You don't have to factor that in. And there's a bridge that I heard about recently. I can't remember what it is, but it's a bridge, I believe, in New York and New Jersey, but it may be wrong, that just solely due to the curve of the Earth, the 2 beams, that are like supporting it, aren't like this. They're actually like this. So they're like 6 millimeters farther apart at the top than they are at the bottom, just because of the way that the Earth curves. So they do. I mean, they don't have to take into account because it's 6 millimeters. I mean, they probably had to do something with that, but it's still a thing that happens. Earth's initial curvature. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see some other good ones. I'm trying to look for ones that are short that I can do easily. Okay, I remember seeing one. Oh, this one. This one's good. If the Earth were truly a sphere, 25,000 miles in circumference, airplane pilots would have to constantly correct their altitude so as not to fly straight off into outer space. A pilot wishing to simply maintain their altitude at a typical cruising speed of 500 miles per hour would have to constantly dip their nose downwards and descend 2,777 feet, or half a mile, every minute. Otherwise, without compensation, in 1 hour's time, the pilot would find them 31.5 miles higher than expected. Okay, so Yes, and first off, it shows a really trashy model of the Earth and the Moon. It's much, much, much further than that, but that's earlier. Okay, so this isn't right at all because airplane engines, jet engines, work on oxygen coming in. Right? They breathe in air, and that kind of starts combustion. I'm not entirely sure, and it produces thrust. So with this reasoning, they would go up, and even though they're in a place with no atmosphere where their engines cannot work, that they would continue going. So if they start going too high, then their engines kind of not I won't call it solid, but they kind of slow down a bit. So they slow down as well, and so they do compensate a bit. I'm not a pilot, so don't totally put me on that. This one's good. If the Earth were truly constantly spinning eastwards at over 1,000 miles an hour, helicopters and hot air balloons should be able to simply hover over the surface of the Earth and wait for their destinations to come to them. This is not true because when the helicopters are on the ground, they are moving at 1,000 miles an hour at the same time with the Earth. They're moving with the Earth, okay? So they go up and they still have all this momentum that the Earth has, okay? And it's not like they're instantly gonna go up and it's not like they're instantly gonna go up and just sit there and let it go by. Like, so if you were to jump, that's like saying if you were to jump, you would instantly move, very quickly eastward, just because you're to instantly cancel out your velocity, that the surface of the Earth is giving you, and that is dumb. During the Red Bull stratosphere dive, I remember that, Felix Baumgartner, spending 3 hours of sitting over New Mexico, should have landed 2,500 miles. Once again, he had the same, the same motion with the Earth. Everyone has that spinning motion. Okay, and gravity and okay, so something about gravity. I don't really know what gravity is. They don't. I know what gravity is. No one truly does, though. There's one I saw. Then the clouds of wind and weather patterns could casually and unpredictably go every which way, with clouds often traveling opposite directions at various altitudes simultaneously. I mean, no. It just because the atmosphere kind of moves with us. Not don't quote me on that either. So I'm not entirely sure of that. There's a really good one I saw about Mars and the ISS as well. So yeah, now they're just talking about these flight routes don't exist. Why not? Because if you were to fly over there, chances are it's frigid cold, and if you were to crash, then there'd be like no survivors whatsoever if you were to crash in Antarctica. But if you were to go over here, at least you weren't, in some frigid cold wasteland. You could be close to the close to this, and if you start running out of fuel, because this is a long distance, if you start running out of fuel, then going from here to here makes sense. But and it's like this makes sense on a flat Earth, even though it doesn't, because it's still pointed like that. And once again, that's probably just to minimize the distance traveled over water, just to minimize like the danger. And if you're going up here, you're probably picking up more passengers. And so this is all like a part of part of where the flights go is part of the airline's choice where to put them. So it's telling something about how the seasons. Let's see here. The Earth will truly globe in the inner polar regions comparable. Okay, there's something good about seasons that they said. There's pretty interesting. Oh yeah, so here they totally in this image they totally like forget about. It's like they've never even been to South America or anywhere else. So because this seems to me like a very American centric, I guess if that's a word, kind of a image there with these just saying that this is where they orbit at different times. So, and so this is the establishment claims a midnight sun is experienced in Antarctica, but they conveniently do not have any uncut videos showing this, nor do they allow independent explorers to travel to Antarctica during the winter solstice to verify or refute these claims. Conversely, there are dozens of uncut public videos publicly available showing the Arctic midnight sun has been verified beyond any shadow of a doubt. You just contradicted yourself there. Whatever. And the reason why they don't have the one full video is because they'd have to record like 24 hours worth of footage. Are you really going to go and sit out a camera, let it run for 24 hours without dying? So you had to find a way to keep it charged. And then watch the video for 24 hours to prove that it happens? Yeah, no. More midnight sun, something. Okay, there's one really good one that I saw. The New York skyline, if ball, it's clearly visible. If ball, once again, you're not gonna notice 170 foot of dive, especially if you're way high up, because they're not. Yeah, from 1,283 foot summit. See, some of the stuff they forget to take in just the way that the terrain works. And then they try claiming that the reason why you can't see that far is the only like real thing they've said is that the reason why you can't see super far because it's a flat Earth is just because there's a bunch of stuff in the atmosphere. That's the only thing they've said that actually makes sense. So the fact that, and here's more stuff about buildings should be hiding behind. There's one really good one I saw, and I want it to be the last one I do. So, oh yeah, so it's this one is claiming that the moon should exert absolutely no tides on the Earth whatsoever, just because the Earth has a greater gravitational pull. Yet, the moon just because it has a greater gravitational pull does not mean that the moon can't influence our tides. And I mean, I haven't read through them all, but I don't think this is really explain how the tides come out. Here it is. Here's my favorite one. So, okay, so Mars through NASA's telescope, right? And there's this great image of Mars. It looks like something down there. And then Mars through everyone else's telescope. And I can tell you, yeah, that's what it looks like down here on Earth, looking through the atmosphere with a little $200-300 telescope, amateur telescope. That's what Mars may look like to you, okay? Especially if you're here in the city. Then it's definitely going, light pollution will mess you up. But this, Mars through NASA's telescope, was probably taken by, like, the Hubble Space Telescope, or even something that's orbiting Mars right now, so much closer, and it's with $1 billion telescope in it, okay? And, I mean, this is taken much closer with a much more expensive telescope compared to this. I mean, we're what, half an AU away, so like 50,000 miles away. No, that's wrong. 50 million miles away. Or, generally, 100,000 miles away sometimes from Mars. No. Okay. Moon and the sun. Okay, so yeah, that is sun is clearly not 93 million miles away. You could see a hot spot underneath it. What is that supposed to mean? You can't see anything unless you mean the hat. That just it's probably just it shining through the atmosphere. So anyway, yeah, so I'm going to leave it off right here. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.